Hi, this is a Merry Mayhem's podcast.
where we unpack everything about weddings. So take a breath, settle in, and let's dive in.
Welcome to episode 3 of Finding the Right Wedding Photographer. So, this is the topic we will be going to talk about today. Do you have anything that you'd like to share
I don't
before
know.
we go deep into the topic?
I don't know why my mind suddenly blank. Is it too early in the morning? Like couples usually struggle with finding like who's the right vendors, and more often than not, like they don't know what are some of the criterias and some of the things to look out for when you're looking for the so-called right vendor lah. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
I have a few points here that I think will be quite interesting that we can touch on today
yeah.
that hopefully can help you with your journey in finding your photographer and even other wedding vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just photographer.
Mm.
So I have a few points here already.
Mm.
You also have, right?
I do have lah, but
Mm.
I feel like it might overlap at some point.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
If it overlaps, then
Yeah.
it's good lah. That means we probably share some similarities in terms of our values also.
Yeah.
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 So speaking of value, I think for me as a photographer, what I try to provide for my couple is actually value
Mm.
ahead of
Even booking you lah.
even
Right.
booking me. That's why we even want to do this podcast.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to give you as much value as we can, share more insights and experience that we have. Yeah. So shall we go into the first point?
Sure.
So maybe what would be your first point? I'm just curious.
My first point actually is, okay, as if you want to find the right photographer, I think firstly you need to like their work. So definitely looking at their portfolios. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's so many photographers out there, or even videographers, like let's just talk about photographer for now lah. So having so many photographers out there, exactly what do you like, and how to exactly pinpoint which photographer is so-called right for you. I feel like firstly you need to go and look through all of their works. Not only, like their Instagram, because Instagram is just like a small bit of what they show on social media. But I think more importantly is looking through their entire portfolio from the starting of the day to the end of the day, that kind,
So you
a
mean
full album.
so what you mean
Yeah.
is like a full album.
Yeah, correct. I think it's like important, like what they capture is something that catches your eye also. But then again, cause every couple is very, very different. Like their timeline is very, very different. So, exactly what you want to see from the album is actually like the storyline also lah. Yeah.
I agree. Because I think these days, a lot of couples just evaluate through social media because it's convenient,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Social media is just almost everybody has a social media now, and
Yep.
then you can see a lot of nice photos and find inspirations there.
Mm.
But like you said, you're not just gonna get a few photos for your wedding. You're gonna
Correct.
get like an extensive amount of pictures, like easily 500-600 photos or even more.
Yeah.
So you can't just judge based on a few photos to determine if they are the right fit for you. But I think it is a good start to figuring out if their style matches you.
Yeah.
Because I think as a photographer, we tend to post pictures
Yeah.
that we feel are nice,
Mhm.
that is in line with our style, so that we can attract the right couple.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that is just the first step. Yeah. But like what Ming Hwee said, I think the next step is to, if let's say the portfolio catches your eye, then maybe you can go to their website or even request the photographer to share maybe a full album of the entire pre-wedding shoot session or maybe actual wedding day.
Yeah.
To determine from there.
Yeah, I think like that would help you a bit more to, really find out what the photographer does on that day itself also. Yeah. So
I think for couples, a lot of times they look at the colors. Like when they evaluate a portfolio, they tend to look at color editing and also the shooting angles lah.
Yeah.
But I feel like angles sometimes can be a bit technical.
Yeah.
Too technical for couples to understand. So a lot of them, I think their first thing is they look at the colors of the photos.
Yes.
Yeah. Because different photographers got different editing style.
True.
Some they prefer the colors to be a little bit more warmer. Some prefer it to be a bit more magenta or tints, the white balance lah, essentially, or even the exposure. Some they like it a bit brighter,
Yeah.
a bit some is a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, underexposed.
I think that also like touches on like sometimes like it's the feelings that the photos that gives you. So like sometimes like the moodier feeling is like you like the feely kind of kind of mood lah. Yeah. Some people can appreciate that, but not everyone. Some people find that it's very like moody and dark. Like it's not something that they want for their wedding. Which I think is fair also. But there's also another so-called market that really appreciates like those that gives a lot of feelings. Yeah, the moody kind.
What would you describe your style or your feeling to be in your own personal work lah that you like to do?
Okay, honestly, I feel like I like to go with the flow, like how the couple is like, and I think from there
Okay.
I move along with it. So I don't like to have a set style as of now, which maybe you can say that like maybe I'm still finding my style, but I think I'm still quite flexible at this point. Yeah. So I can still flow with a lot of different style. Yeah, even for editing wise, like I can still match a lot of other edits. I think it depends on really what the photos gives me, like that kind of feeling, whether or not it matches the moody style, or like whether the moody so-called preset would be very applicable on their photos or not. Yeah. Then after that I'll see whether or not it matches lah.
Okay.
Those very happy, very joyful kind, I think it wouldn't exactly match the moody kind of presets. Yeah. So I wouldn't put on that preset on that kind of photos lah.
Yeah, it makes sense lah. I also personally am very adaptive to how couples are like on set during shoot. And then I try to produce something that is in line with how I felt on that day. So it's very much I would say reliant on how couple makes me feel. Yeah, on the day of the shoot. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that can be a style on its own lah, right?
True.
Yeah. Okay, so I think
I was gonna say like I think that sometimes would make couples feel like it's a bit difficult to choose.
It's a bit all over the place.
Yeah. Which then I know ultimately I will still want to find like my style on my own. I think at least it makes it consistent, and then it also gives couples the confidence that like I'm coming to this photographer for this specific style, and I think it's something that couples will gain the confidence lah. Yeah.
But for me, I think at the end of the day, if I have to boil down to my favorite type of couple or my favorite type of shoot, would be I will just use one word to describe it: fun. I like the session to be fun, lighthearted, and couple to enjoy the whole process of the wedding day or the pre-wedding shoot with me lah. Then pictures will come out very genuine, authentic. You capture a lot of raw emotions.
Yeah. I like that also actually. Yeah.
Okay lah. Good. So I think we can move on to a little bit more of the evaluating of your portfolio, because we've been talking about more of like the editing style and also the shooting style. But I think one more thing to look out for is whether have they shot at your wedding venue from their portfolio also. That can help.
Yeah, this is a point that I don't have.
So I think if you can spot pictures, especially wedding venues or pre-wedding locations that they have shot before that you are considering to shoot at, right? I think that is also one of the pointers that can help you in your decision making. Sorry. Yeah, because I think it will be a benefit for couples if the photographers has worked at your venue before. Not saying that if they never worked there before is like a demerit point, but shooting there can be a bonus. Why? Because I feel that they can share with you some insights prior to you actually holding your banquet at the venue, because the photographer can let you know what setting will be better, whether to do your solemnization in the meeting room or in the ballroom, or at the foyer, whatever, will be better for photos lah. So I think the experience that they have shot at your venue would be a plus point.
I definitely agree with that, because like in a way, the couples will be better informed about like the location itself, like whether or not to hold a solemnization at the outdoor solemnization area, or like to do it maybe indoors or something, like, you know, what is nicer. Yeah. And then, I mean, Singapore's weather is very unpredictable, so also
Yeah.
if the photographer knows more about the location itself, like they are able to better
Work around it when
yes.
because especially pre-wedding shoot, the
Mm-hmm.
couple's biggest concern is what if it rains, right?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, so I think if we have shot at certain venues before, we know what are the workarounds, whether there are maybe hidden spots around that location that maybe is sheltered.
Mm.
Yeah, and then we can still get some nice photos out of it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Or sometimes even photographer might know people at that location,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
banquet manager or maybe the events coordinator or whatever. They can get special benefits to access, hidden locations that
Yeah.
are not supposedly open for shooting, that sort of thing. Not saying that if the photographer never shoot there before it's a bad thing, because sometimes people who never shot at certain locations before, they go there as photographers, they have a new perspective.
Fresh eyes, man, which is something that I like a lot. Yeah. I like to shoot at locations that I have never shot before. Like,
Yeah.
it's completely fresh and it's like a new set of eyes.
Mm.
So there's this photographer that came from Korea actually. He went over to Gallop Extension. So Gallop Extension is like a place where like it's very commonly used, a common place where we do a lot of shoots there also lah. Yeah. So wow, when I saw the works that came up from that Korean photographer, it completely blew me off. Like whatever that the photographer sees at that point is very different from what we usually see. Yeah. So like having a fresh set of eyes for unknown places, I think is also like very nice. It's something that I like also. Yeah.
Don't be hesitant just because a photographer never worked at a venue before to work with a PG. Yeah, because I think there are always new locations coming out in Singapore every now and then. Yeah, so even though it might be different, it might be still similar in some ways. So we still know how. I mean, if a photographer has worked long enough, he would have probably shot in all kinds of different circumstances before. Yeah, because there are locations that is very well lit. There are locations that are very poorly lit.
Yes.
And the poorly lit ones, I can give you some examples, are usually like restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Those restaurants, they are not actually designed in a way that is actually for weddings. So they don't have proper place where you can stand and give a speech, and they don't have proper spotlights, to lead you up during your speeches and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it very much rely on the ambient lighting, and sometimes restaurant they want a certain or mood, so the lighting can be quite poor lah.
Like challenging lah in some ways. Yeah.
But I think with the recent technology, with all the
Yeah.
as long as we are using the right camera gears, lenses, we are able to usually work around, instances like that. I mean, worst case scenario, we bring our own lighting.
Yeah.
But
Agree.
more often than not, it doesn't happen. And we can still be able to still shoot with our usual equipment.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though the place might be very bad. I would say. So
technology these days actually recently like the recent years I would say like it improved so much. I'm someone that is not very
tech savvy.
I'm not like a technical nerd or something. So like to me like the gear doesn't really matter. But actually after Mike started bringing me onto like wedding shoots and stuff 2 years back, I started to pick up a lot also lah from like all these how gears can help me improve my work. Yeah.
But I think importantly is we don't lose touch with the connection and the art of photography. Because I think photography is about connection with people. It's not so much on the technology. Technology is just there to assist and help us.
It's just a tool.
I think with the recent improvements in technology and making our life easier as a photographer, it gives me more space during my shooting sessions to connect with couple more, instead of like fiddling with the camera, worrying about the settings. I can trust that the camera can get a lot of the heavy lifting done. So I can focus more on building rapport and, communicating with couples while I'm shooting. Yeah. So I think that is what technology has been helping me improve in terms of that. Because last time, you have to set this up, prepare this, make sure the settings is correct, and then whether the focus went off. But nowadays, everything is so reliable that I can pretty much be quite hands off in terms of like my setup and focus more on talking to couples
Talking about technology, I want to one day shoot with like a digicam.
I mean,
it would be fun turn out very differently. I
Mm.
think it would be quite cool.
I think these days, that it's this
Trendy lah.
this thing is coming back
Yeah.
people are like growing backwards, but it's fun to see
Yeah.
but I'm still a bit slow to that. I still focus more on the more updated technology. You using the latest gear and whatnot. But
Big
okay.
contacts. Big contact. Yeah.
Never, it's a rat race never ending. Keep chasing one after another. But okay, so I think evaluating portfolio will be the first point. Then the next point would be maybe I can share the next point
Sure, yeah.
So I think what comes in next is if the portfolio and everything is aligned, then next would be discovery call.
Yes.
It's something that I love to share with couples because I think it's so important to actually get to meet the photographer in person. Get to speak to them, get to know them, know their personality and things like that. It's very much different, I would say, from a sales call, because a lot of people might think that maybe a discovery call is a sales call, or this guy is going to convince me to sign a package with him and whatnot. But I think at least for myself, a discovery call shouldn't be that way it's really more of just a meetup for the photographer and the couple or the prospect to get to understand if their values align. There's a few things that I like to talk about during discovery call. So one of them is definitely to see if your values are aligned with one another. So values, when I mention value, what I'm trying to say is like what is important to the photographer when it comes to taking photos. What is important to the photographer when it comes to the wedding day. Because these values are important in translating into your photos moving forward, after the wedding. So how I perceive a wedding is also extension of my work, my craft.
Correct.
So I think it's important that you have this understanding that the photographer's perspective and values are very much important. It's not so much just about the photos maybe you see all these nice photos, right, that this photographer has taken is pretty much because the values are aligned between the couple and the photographer. But if yours and the photographer don't align, then there is a gap there. Then he might not be able to capture the wedding the best way possible. As at least in your perspective so I think this value alignment thing is the key in unlocking a lot of things during the discovery call to see if the photographer is the right fit for you. What else
I think
do you think?
Yes, like knowing the photographer, him or herself. So values which you touch on. Actually, I find that way back probably before COVID happens, right? It's probably like a face-to-face meet, which I think you're able to get like a vibe, like a connection with the photographer, and whether or not the photographer is like right for you. Like all sales talk apart, right? Aside, sorry. Whether or not you can connect well and like you can chat with your photographer like a normal friend like that, I think it's like rather important also. Cause like how the photographer is as a person would also determine how your photographer will be like on that day itself. And I think like it's the consistency will be there and it's quite important in that way also. So I think the face to face meet actually to me personally, I still do enjoy face-to-face meet with my couples, and then we get to chat about a lot of other stuff also. And sometimes not even just one meetup. It can be like multiple meet also. But of course, like during the initial meet, you have to like probably set the grounds right also lah. Yeah.
Yeah lor. I think setting expectations during the discovery call is also very important because there are cases where couples' expectations are not something that I can meet. So during the call or the meetup, I realized that a little bit unrealistic. Because sometimes I also understand that couples they have certain expectations, but realistically, is it achievable or not? They are not very sure. But some will still insist on get meeting those expectations, even though I've already communicated to them that hey, this is actually not something that I think is achievable, or at least for myself, I'm not up to it. I have to be honest lah, brutally honest with myself and the couple that this is something that I can't do. It's beyond my capabilities. Then maybe you can then recommend someone who is a better fit for the couple, or who is more confident in taking up what they are expecting.
Yeah, I think that's only fair for the couple to make like a better informed decision about who to choose for the photographer. So I think we mentioned about a bit of the discovery call part, but what do you actually run through during a discovery call?
Okay, good question. So two things lah. To keep it simple. So first thing is I try to provide value ahead of time. So what I do during the first half of the discovery call is run through the wedding day timeline with couple. So running through means that it doesn't mean that you need to have a timeline ready. Because a lot of time when you do discovery call, it's still 1 year, 1.5 year, or 6 months before your wedding. So it's still early. You don't have your timeline ready. So what I do is instead I'll ask you relevant questions, and through the questions I will already be able to come up with a timeline draft for your wedding day. Especially wedding day or even pre-wedding timeline schedule. So at least you have a better vision of what's gonna happen on the day. Because I use words to describe the flow of the wedding day and what will happen, what will not happen. You don't have to firm up things up, but at least have a rough idea. And then with the timeline, you will be able to know roughly how many hours you may need from our side lah, as the photographer. Because a lot of photographers, they charge by hours, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so based off that, I will give you a timeline and then advise you based on that how many hours you may require. So this is the first half of the conversation. Then the second half, I will usually talk more about the creative direction, which is where the expectations comes in, client expectations. Yeah, so what are the type of photos they are looking for? What kind of setting of the wedding is gonna happen, and then whether we are able to capture some of the shots lah, must have shots, because sometimes couples, they have a list of photos they want. Yeah, and then yeah lor. From there I will determine whether these are aligned with my creative direction, or at least what's important to me. So just a simple example, for me, what's important on the wedding day is I tell couple, right, actually my value as a wedding photographer is I want couples to have fun, enjoy the wedding day, right? Because you spend 6 months, 1 year planning this day, then the day has finally arrived. Do you want to still be working on the day, or do you want to really enjoy the day for what it is, for all the hard work, blood and sweat that you've put in for the past 1 year planning this day? Yeah, so to me, of course, I want you to have fun and enjoy, right? So I always tell couple during the call that I hope you can let go of a lot of expectations of how things will flow on the day, as much as you've already planned, but rather just be in the moment, enjoy the day for what it is. And then I can document the wedding day as authentically as I can lah, because I am a very documentary style. So I don't like to curate too much. What's your take?
Similarly, I don't like to curate too much. I like to shoot it You say documentary, but for myself, documentary, but in a bit more cinematic lens. Yeah, so from my eyes, it's a bit more the cinematic style, but definitely not asking you all to do certain stuff that is very curated. Yeah, so I'll still like the day to flow as authentically as it can be. Yeah, except that, like I don't want it to be too um curated, I would say. So what I mean by curated is getting you all to do things that what things that I want you all to do, but more of like I want you to run the day yourself and how you would react to whatever it is lah. Yeah,
But that being said, I think couples sometimes they
don't know what to do.
they can get lost. They don't know what to do, so they will tend to hope that the photographer can give a little bit more instruction to help them. So how I do it normally is I will tell couple, I will help you. I won't leave you there lah.
Yes, same,
To
yep.
struggle on your own. But what I do is I like to give you maybe end goal, what to do,
Right.
like what to achieve together. But
Yeah.
how you want to get there, right, I leave it up to you.
Mm.
Because if I have to tell you every step of the way how to achieve this thing, right?
Yep.
Maybe like say for example a post,
Mm.
then it will be very curated.
True.
Yeah. So I won't tell you like how many steps you need to walk, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just roughly describe to you what's the feeling that I want to achieve out of this post or this set of photos that I'm about to take. And then I want you to
Execute it yourself
execute
lah.
it
Yeah.
your own way. Yeah, because the pictures has to represent you, ma.
True. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, because if I curate so much, then it's basically I am
You're running the show.
I'm running the show. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to fit you into my box 100%, which is not what I want lah.
It's not what I want.
I think it's to find that balance.
Yeah.
You want to still help the couple, but you also want to give them the space to be themselves. Yeah, so I think creating that space is something that I learned over the years also. Last time also same lah, curate,
Yeah.
tell them exactly what to do. Then throughout the day, what happened to the couple is they just waiting for instructions.
Wait for you. Yeah.
Every time they will tell me, should I hold her hands? Should I look at each other? Should I smile? Should I smile is a very common question. A couple
Yes,
always like to ask.
Yeah.
Should I smile or should I not smile?
Mhm.
Cause to me is smile or not is really up to you. To me it's not so important. Like I want to shoot you how you feel in that moment. So if
Yeah.
you find it very funny, you want to laugh, please go ahead.
Yes. I find that whenever couples do that on their own, like whenever if they find it like it's very funny, or if it's just they just come up with some unhinged jokes, I will just shoot it the way it is, man. I think it's just very fun that way, like when you shoot the day as it is. Yeah, ultimately, like I really want my couples to have fun as well. I think that's one of the more important thing. Yeah, when they can be themselves, I think the photos will turn out really, really nice, and how it really reflects how they are as a couple and how the day, is like.
Because I think authenticity is one of the core values lah, at least for me as a wedding photographer. Yeah, so I don't want to take that out of the wedding day, because the essence of the wedding day is the couple themselves, and if I were to curate so much, then the essence is gone already.
Yeah.
So even for the pre-wedding shoot, also same thing lah. I would say.
It makes me reflect a bit on how I shoot my actual day sometimes. Like, yes, I do want my couples to feel like themselves, and I want to shoot as authentically as I can be. But sometimes like it's just a bit difficult. Yeah, they are just not comfortable in front of camera sometimes.
Yeah, so that's why I think as photographer, right, our job is not as simple as just taking photo.
Yeah.
It's a lot of building rapport, human connection, how we interact, how we communicate effectively. It's all these things that adds up. Clicking the shutter, right, it's anybody can do, ma.
True.
Yeah, but how to make people feel comfortable or confident to be themselves in front of you, not just you, but in front of a camera that you're holding, right?
Yeah.
I think that is the hardest thing that a photographer must learn to do.
Yeah.
It's not so much about getting the best pose, having the best idea. Yeah, because to me, like I shared just now, photography is more to me as is not just taking photos, it's like the connection that humans create between one another.
Yeah.
So it's important lah. That's why the discovery call is an opportunity to let you at least first get a glimpse of whether you feel that initial connection with the photographer or not, because he can give you the best price, he can take the best photos, but if the connection is not there, I think you're just building your foundation, right?
Yeah.
For the wedding, right? You're building it on the wrong foundation already lah.
Yeah.
So then whatever come afterwards, right, will become very unstable, you know. Like in terms of communication, whether is the photographer going to be responsive, you know, and all that. All these things are, I think, a lot of factors that people overlook.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only about taking photos, because when you work with a vendor, you want to be able to get their professional advice or tips, you know, and it can come any point of time because your wedding is like 1 year away. So you may have to actually reach out to the photographer. I got couples reach out to me, ask me like, oh, is this wedding dress suitable or not for the ballroom or for the pre-wedding shoot location? What kind of timing will be good if we were to do the shoot, you know, this sort of things. So these things may feel like common sense to us, but it's not common sense to couple.
Right.
But because we do this day in, day out, so sometimes it
Correct.
really we may forget that it's actually not common sense.
Yeah.
Even though it is common sense to us to a certain extent.
I'm still trying to separate it like that.
Yeah.
Like a photographer's point of view and also like from a couple's point of view. Sometimes like, I just need to consciously do that to be able to feed myself, to feed to tell the couples the right thing also.
I think working with a lot of empathy is very important. That's why I think me as a photographer, one of my strong point as traits as a photographer would be empathy. I can empathize a lot with other couples in how they feel in a certain moment. So I want to make sure that they don't feel like they're uncomfortable or they're being put in a difficult spot. Because sometimes we shoot at circumstances where, you know, things can be a bit tricky and couple may or may not feel comfortable. So with empathy, you will be able to not make things difficult for them lah. In fact, you can actually put them in the right place at the right time, you know, and to do the right thing. Because there's a time for everything. But if you do it at the wrong time, the thing is supposed to be right also become wrong.
That's an art on its own actually.
So okay, I think so these are the few things I talked about. But the last thing, of course, not to miss out lah, other than the timeline planning and the creative direction, will be the packages that we provide lah. The budget, the price, you know, and then we see if we can of course every photographer has a rate lah. You know, but sometimes the rate can be a bit over. So that is the part where if let's say our rate is over your budget, then we see if we can do something to maybe help fit your budget better. Maybe by reducing the hours, you know, or by the like reducing the number of deliverables, you know, or we can substitute a location for somewhere nearby, you know, things like that to cut down the hours lah. You know, I have couples who came to me with, you know, the idea of engaging me for 13 hours.
13? 1 3?
They thought like, oh, they will need 13 hours of my time for the wedding day. Then we realized that through the discovery call, actually I told them you don't need 13 hours. In fact, you just need 8 or 9 hours. Max 9 hours actually can be done already. So couples, they don't know, sometimes because it's their first time planning the wedding. So they might over emphasize on certain events or, you know, things that's happening on the day, then it drag out the timeline.
Actually, sometimes when I look at the timeline that was provided by the couple, which actually it was the venue, like banquet manager, that provided them with the timeline. Sometimes they put like 1 hour for tea ceremony, which I thought like it's a bit long.
But it depends lah. I mean, I always share with couple how to get a more precise amount of time for, like not precise but accurate amount of time for your tea ceremony is roughly, at least for myself, like 1.5 minutes per couple. So if you are doing like 10 couples for tea ceremony, then it's 15 minutes lor. 20 couples is 30 minutes.
That's why I advise my couples as well. Learning from the master.
Hey, I'm not a master. I'm just sharing my experience. There's a lot of things. I mean, to be honest, right, I've also learned a lot of things from like the newer photographers like you know, and the rest, because I mean, my way of doing things a bit dated already. Yeah, and sometimes I think with fresh people like you guys, you all really give me a lot of new inspirations lah, you know, in what I do. Yeah, because it can be a bit boring you know, like if I keep doing things repeatedly the same. Yeah, so yeah lor, you guys also gave me a lot of new inspirations here and there for the past few years, which is good lah. Yeah, so I can reevaluate how I'm doing things, yeah, and find a new direction or something new to look forward to lor. Yeah.
Always learning it.
So what I normally do is after the discovery call, yeah lor, I make sure that we give the couple 1 week to decide whether to engage us. You know, yeah. But of course, if it's not the right fit, I will have to upfront tell them already lah. So I have to let them know that maybe this vendor is better in doing the job. Yeah, and I'm not so much, because I think couple value honesty. Yeah, it's one of also the core values that I stand by lah. You know, cause if it's not right, it's not right lor. Yeah, if it's right, then of course it's right lah. You know. Yeah. So for me is I will give couple 1 week to decide whether to work with me if that's the right fit. Yeah. So if the couple decides to work with me, then great lah. You know. Yeah. But at least after the discovery call, it should give you much more clarity whether to engage the photographer or not. Because if you're just evaluating a portfolio, sending some Instagram DMs or WhatsApp, right, it's still very hard to, you know, be certain whether this is the person you want to work with.
It's very salesy lah, I would say. Like just everything just about the numbers, the rates and all.
Yeah lor. So if you speak to the photographer themselves, the person who is going to show up for your wedding, right? Then I think it's more or less clear to you whether this person is someone you want to work with for the coming 6 months to 1 year before your wedding. If let's say in the event you meet already, you still have some uncertainty, right? Because okay lah, I very funny. I learned this from my mentor. So if it's not a hell yes, right, it's a no already. So to me, it's after the discovery call, if you don't have the feeling that wow, I really want to work with this photographer, right? Then I think just don't go with that decision yet. I mean, maybe you can still put it aside. Yeah, if there is just any form of hesitation, right, please go and meet more vendors. Yeah, if meeting many vendors after, right, you still cannot find a hell yes, right, then okay lor, then maybe you can evaluate, okay, who is the best out of all, you know. Yeah, but don't meet too many lah. I think you will end up feeling lost, you know.
Spoiled for choice, I would say. Either that or if not, like really don't know who to choose.
Yeah lor. Like when I was finding my home ID also, people are telling me like just find maybe 3 to 5 IDs lah. Don't go and meet. I got friends who meet 20 IDs and like, wow, you really see it going
The time used for that, man, it's a lot.
I actually only meet 3 IDs that I select already. So I will advise also not to just meet one lah. Yeah, so at least meet around 3. Yeah, and then from there you will the I would say the more you talk to, the better idea you have. But of course, too many also not good, because you start to get confused. So I say maybe meet 3 to 5. At that point of time, you probably know who is the one you want already. Yeah. So but of course there are cases where just some couple they just want to meet one and then they already got that hell yes feeling and then they straight away engage now.
I think it's a hell yes feeling that it gave them. I think it was the right signal to say like, oh yeah, I want this photographer.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of this episode. We'll be sharing more with you next week in part 2, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.